Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to kick off today's session on writing skills. This is the first slide, so I want to warmly welcome you all and thank you for joining us. Today, we'll explore key aspects that can enhance your writing abilities. We'll cover fundamental techniques, practical tips, and how to develop your own writing style. So, let's get started and make this an engaging and productive session. Let's take a closer look at the scope of motivation behind developing strong writing skills. Understanding what drives us to improve can really help shape our approach. Now, moving on to barriers to writing skills, these are common challenges many of us face, such as lack of confidence, time constraints, or limited access to effective tools. Recognizing these obstacles is the first step to overcoming them. When we talk about writing itself, it's more than just putting words on paper. It involves clarity, purpose, and structure. Speaking of structure, that's a core element. Knowing how to organize your ideas makes your writing more compelling and easier to follow. Let's not forget the importance of punctuation. It's the small marks that guide the reader through your message, adding clarity and tone. And of course, principles of good writing, like coherence, conciseness, and correctness, are fundamental to communicating effectively. Emails are an essential part of professional communication, so understanding how to craft clear, concise emails is crucial. We'll also cover training for writing, which can help us develop these skills systematically. Publishing is the next stage. Once your writing is polished, sharing it with the right audience can have a significant impact. Pro-writing activities, like brainstorming, help us gather ideas before we start composing. Structure is vital in organizing content, and easy writing techniques can make the process less daunting. We'll explore ways to improve writing skills, including practicing regularly and seeking feedback. There are different types of writing: formal, informal, creative, and each serves a unique purpose. Sometimes, lack of effective tools or resources hampers our progress, so identifying and using the right tools is important. Editing and revision are key steps. These refine our work, improve clarity, and fix errors. Writer's block can be frustrating, but understanding its causes can help us overcome it. So, what is the writing process? It involves planning, drafting, revising, and proofreading, each stage essential to producing quality writing. Noise or distractions can interfere with focus, so managing our environment is beneficial. Using clear language ensures our message is understood, while proofreading helps catch mistakes before finalizing. The purpose of our writing guides the tone and content, whether we're composing letters, memos, or other documents. By understanding these key points, we're better equipped to develop effective writing skills, which ultimately enhances our communication in all areas of life. Writing means putting letters or symbols on any surface, and it's something we do every day. In any form of communication, writing holds a very special place because it allows us to share ideas, feelings, and information clearly. Good writing skills are essential because they help you express your message with clarity and ease, making sure your audience understands exactly what you want to say. Writing is actually a creative skill. Just like any other skill, it gets better the more you practice. The more you write, the more proficient you become. So, developing your writing skills is a continuous process, and it's key to effective communication in both personal and professional settings. Writing is such a vital skill in communication because it allows us to express our ideas clearly and effectively. It's not just something we do casually. Strong writing skills are highly valued in organizations, where professional writers are often needed to craft reports, proposals, and other important documents. Some people even turn writing into a career, pursuing roles like poets, novelists, historians, and more. The key point here is that good writing enables us to connect with a much larger audience, making our messages understandable and impactful. When you develop your writing skills, you're not just improving your ability to communicate, you're opening doors to various professional opportunities and enhancing your overall effectiveness in sharing ideas. This ties perfectly into our theme of communication skills being essential for personal and professional growth. Now, let's take a closer look at the different types of writing. As you can see here, there are several categories, each serving a unique purpose. First, we have narrative writing, which is all about telling stories or recounting events in a way that engages the reader. It's a very creative form of writing that helps convey experiences vividly. Next, there's free writing, which is more spontaneous, just putting your thoughts down without worrying about structure or correctness, often used as a brainstorming tool. Moving on, persuasive writing aims to convince the reader of a particular point of view or argument. This type is essential in areas like advertising, essays, or debates. Then, we have independent writing, which refers to tasks you might do on your own, such as writing reports or personal projects, promoting clarity and self-reliance. Letters and memos are more formal or semi-formal. They're used in professional communication to inform, request, or share information. Expository writing is about explaining or informing. Think of textbooks, how-to guides, or articles. Easy writing emphasizes simplicity and clarity, making sure your message is accessible to everyone. And finally, emails are a quick and common way to communicate digitally, blending casual and formal tones depending on the context. Understanding these different types helps us recognize how varied writing can be, depending on our purpose and audience. This variety is what makes writing such a powerful tool across all areas of life. Email is really fast, convenient, and easy to use. It has become the dominant method of communication in business today. One of the great advantages of email is that it allows us to communicate effortlessly with people in different locations and time zones. That means we can stay connected no matter where we or our colleagues are working from. Another key point is that email is especially helpful when communicating with people who understand written English, but may not speak it fluently. It provides a clear, written record that everyone can refer back to. Plus, it's an excellent tool for following up on meetings or sending out action items. It helps ensure that everyone is on the same page and knows what needs to be done next. Overall, email is a vital part of modern business communication, making it easier to stay connected and organized across distances. Letters and memos are the fundamental tools we use in business communication. They serve as the main way to share information, ideas, and instructions. It's important to keep them brief and focused, ideally making just a single point. Remember, a good rule of thumb is to keep them to no more than 2 pages. Now, when it comes to their purpose, letters are typically used for external communication. That means they're the ones you send to clients, partners, or other outside parties. Memos, on the other hand, are meant for internal communication within your organization. They help keep everyone on the same page. The key takeaway here is clarity and brevity. Whether you're writing a letter or a memo, focus on the main message and avoid unnecessary details. Keeping communication straightforward helps ensure your message is understood. And of course, understanding the distinction between these two formats helps us connect more effectively with our audience. External letters build relationships and present professionalism, while internal memos streamline information flow within your team. So always remember to tailor your communication to your audience and purpose, whether external or internal, and keep it clear, concise, and focused. Now, let's talk about free writing, which is a really useful pro-writing technique. Essentially, it involves writing continuously for a set period of time, without worrying about spelling, grammar, or even the specific topic. The idea is to let your thoughts flow freely. While this often results in raw material that might not be directly usable, it has some big benefits. It helps writers overcome blocks of apathy and self-criticism that can hold us back. By just putting words on the page without judgment, you can unlock ideas and get past those mental barriers that sometimes stall your writing process. So, even though it might seem messy, free writing is a powerful way to generate ideas and keep the creative juices flowing. On this slide, we're focusing on different sentence structures that can really enhance our writing. First, we have sentences using subordinate clauses, which are great for adding detail and complexity. These clauses depend on the main part of the sentence and help create a more nuanced message. Next, there's the appositive construction, where we use a noun or noun phrase to give extra information about a noun, making our sentences clearer and more informative. We also want to highlight the importance of reproducible worksheets, which are valuable tools for practice and reinforcement. Moving on, we see sentences containing relative clauses, which introduce additional details about a noun. Think of phrases starting with who, which, or that make our writing more descriptive. Another key point is using semicolons, especially in more intricate sentence formats. Semicolons can connect closely related ideas, making our writing more sophisticated. We also use present and past participles in phrases to add action and description efficiently. Verbal forms, like gerunds and infinitives, are another important element. They help us vary sentence structure and express ideas smoothly. And finally, under the theme of easy writing, mastering these structures allows us to communicate more clearly and engagingly, making our writing more professional and impactful. All these tools, when used thoughtfully, really connect to the overall goal of improving our writing skills. Let's now look at the principles of good writing. First, style is important because it influences how your message is received. It involves choosing words that fit your purpose and audience and maintaining a tone that is appropriate and engaging. Punctuation, on the other hand, helps clarify meaning, guiding the reader through your ideas smoothly. Be objective in your writing, sticking to facts and avoiding unnecessary opinions that could distract from your main message. Always proofread your work to catch errors and ensure clarity. The choice of words should be precise and clear, making your ideas easy to understand. Use language that is straightforward and accessible, avoiding jargon unless it's necessary and well explained. Grammar is essential. Correct grammar supports professionalism and readability. Structure your content logically, with a clear beginning, middle, and end, to help your audience follow your argument effortlessly. The purpose of these principles is to communicate your ideas effectively and convincingly. When you apply these principles, you create writing that is not only professional, but also engaging and easy to comprehend, which ties back into the overall goal of our presentation, to improve your communication skills. First of all, you must know why you are writing. The writing process is like a building. On the skeleton of purpose, the building is constructed. There are many purposes of writing, like conveying good news, delivering bad news, or sending messages of inquiry. Understanding your purpose is crucial because it guides the tone, style, and structure of your writing. When you know why you're writing, everything else falls into place more easily. So, always start by clarifying your purpose. This is the foundation that supports the entire writing process and helps you communicate effectively. All right, let's talk about using clear language. When we communicate, it's really important to be straightforward. That means choosing words that everyone can understand easily. We want to avoid jargon or complicated phrases that might confuse our audience. Clarity helps get our message across effectively. It's also about being consistent. If we introduce a term or idea, we stick with it throughout the presentation. That way, our audience isn't left guessing. We should explain key points thoroughly but keep it simple. You don't need to over-explain or go into too much detail. Just hit the main ideas clearly. Connecting everything to the bigger picture is also crucial. When our language is clear, it supports the overall theme of our presentation. It makes our message more persuasive and memorable. So, remember, simple, direct, and consistent language helps us communicate better and keeps our audience engaged. When presenting information, it's really important to stay objective. That means focusing on the facts and evidence we've gathered, rather than letting personal opinions or desires influence our conclusions. By doing this, we ensure that our analysis is credible and reliable. As we interpret data or findings, we should let the information speak for itself. Our conclusions should naturally follow from what the facts show. This helps maintain integrity and trust in our work. Remember, this approach connects directly to the overall theme of our presentation, making informed, evidence-based decisions. Staying objective keeps us honest and transparent, which is essential when sharing information with others. Having a clear beginning, middle, and end is absolutely essential when it comes to effective communication. It helps your audience follow along and understand your message more easily. When you're writing, it's often more challenging to see the chain of thought compared to speaking aloud, because in spoken words, you naturally connect ideas more fluidly. Think of your thoughts as a blueprint. The structure of your thinking will directly influence how well your writing comes across. So, when you're planning your content, always consider how your ideas flow from start to finish. This structure isn't just about organization. It's about making sure your audience stays engaged and grasps the key concepts you want to convey. The words that you choose really shape your overall style. Your writing can be simple and straightforward, using easy words so that your reader quickly understands the main idea. On the other hand, the words you pick can also send different messages, positive or negative, strong or weak, depending on what you want to express. So, it's important to think carefully about your choice of words because they have the power to influence how your message is received and how effective your communication will be. Punctuation has a large effect on how our message is received. When we speak, we don't need to pause for commas, full stops, question marks, or other punctuation marks. However, in writing, if we don't use these tools properly, it can make our message difficult for the reader to understand. That's why it's important for a writer to have a good understanding of how to use punctuation effectively. Proper punctuation helps clarify our ideas and makes the text more readable. So, mastering punctuation isn't just about following rules. It's about ensuring our message is clear and easily understood by our audience. No grammatical mistakes are essential in writing because, when the grammar is correct, the reader can easily understand the context. Proper grammar helps convey your message clearly and effectively. If your sentences are grammatically accurate, it reduces confusion and ensures your ideas are communicated as intended. This is especially important when discussing complex topics or instructions. So, always pay attention to grammar to make your writing more professional and impactful. Remember, clear writing supports the overall goal of effective communication in any presentation or document. When it comes to proofread, I can't stress enough how important it is to review your work multiple times until you're confident it's perfect. This process is really about catching errors early and often, so they don't slip through later. Once you've finished writing, take the time to read and reread your content carefully, focusing on spotting typos and grammar mistakes. It's also crucial to check for conciseness. Cut out any unnecessary words that don't add value. Remember, clarity is key, and trimming down your content helps convey your message more effectively. Overall, thorough proofreading ensures your work is polished and professional, which ultimately boosts your credibility and confidence in your presentation. Style is a unique trait that every writer owns. It's what makes your writing recognizable and authentic. A good style can really set you apart from others. An easy style, in particular, has a quick impact, meaning your message comes across clearly and efficiently. When your style is straightforward, your audience should understand your message on the very first reading. This is especially important when you want to communicate ideas quickly and effectively. Remember, your style should reflect your voice and serve the purpose of your message, helping you connect with your readers or listeners more deeply. In the end, developing a clear and accessible style is a powerful tool in your overall communication strategy. Let's take a closer look at the revision stage. This is where you review and refine your work, making sure your ideas are clear and polished. It's an important step to ensure your message is strong and effective. Moving on to publishing, this is the final step where you share your finished piece with your audience. Whether it's printing, posting online, or sharing with a group, publishing is about putting your work out into the world. Now, writing itself is the core process. It's about putting your thoughts into words, shaping your ideas into a coherent piece. Editing follows writing. This is where you check for mistakes, improve sentence structure, and enhance clarity. It's all about tightening your work and making it the best it can be. Prewriting is the first step, involving brainstorming, planning, and organizing your ideas before you start writing. Remember, every writer follows their own unique process. These 5 steps, prewriting, writing, editing, publishing, and revision, are a helpful guide, but your personal process might look a little different. The key is to find what works best for you. Understanding these steps helps you become more intentional in your writing and ultimately more confident in your craft. Writing is all about getting everything organized before you even start your rough draft. It's the step where you identify what you need to do, what ideas you want to include, and how you want to approach your topic. Think of it as laying the groundwork for your writing. This stage helps you save time later because you've already thought through your main points and the structure. Remember, writing isn't just about brainstorming. It's about planning so your ideas come together smoothly. It's a crucial part of the overall writing process, setting you up for success when you start drafting. Now, let's move on to piecing the puzzle together. This is where you start sorting through your ideas and deciding which ones will form the foundation of your story. Two of the most popular methods to develop your ideas are free writing and brainstorming. Free writing involves just writing down every idea that comes to mind without overthinking it. The goal is to get everything out. Building on your idea is also crucial. Inspiration can come from everyday routines, situations, or even childhood memories. Remember, ideas are all around you. You just need to be open to noticing them. Finding that right idea is often about exploring what resonates with you and fits your story. This process helps you create a solid, engaging narrative that connects with your audience. Now that you have your plan in place, it's time to start writing. Don't get caught up in word count or perfect grammar at this stage. Just let your ideas flow. Remember, even the best writers produce multiple drafts before they get to the final version, so don't be discouraged if your first attempts aren't perfect. Find a time and place where you can focus without interruptions and make writing a regular part of your daily routine. Consistency is key, and the more you write, the easier it becomes. This step is all about turning your ideas into words and building momentum toward completing your project. At this stage, your story can change significantly. When you're revising your work, many writers naturally adopt the ARRR approach. This stands for add, remove, rearrange, and replace. It's a simple yet powerful method to refine your writing. By adding new ideas or details, removing anything that doesn't serve your story, rearranging sections for better flow, and replacing words or phrases to improve clarity, you make your story stronger. Remember, revision isn't just about fixing errors. It's about shaping your story to be the best it can be. This process connects to the overall theme of crafting a compelling narrative by emphasizing the importance of revision as a vital step in storytelling. The most effective way to revise your work is to ask for a second opinion. Sometimes, a fresh perspective can reveal areas that need clarification or improvement. Do you need more vivid details to help clarify your work? Adding specific descriptions can make your story more engaging and easier to understand. After making additions to your story, consider how your word count has changed. Are your readers experiencing information overload? If so, you might need to eliminate passages that don't quite fit or add more details where necessary. Next, think about the flow, packing, and sequencing of your story. Would the plot be better served if some events occurred in a different order? Rearranging scenes or ideas can improve clarity and engagement. Finally, ask yourself if you've provided all the information your readers need to make sense of your story. If anything feels missing, go back to your notes and add those extra scenes or details. Remember, effective revision involves asking these critical questions and making thoughtful adjustments to improve your work overall. Now that you've overhauled your story, it's time to focus on fine-tuning your manuscript. This means going through it line by line to check for repetition, clarity, grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Remember, editing is a very detailed process, and it's often best to have a professional handle it. Nobody wants to read a book filled with mistakes, and they definitely won't buy one that's riddled with errors. Paying attention to these details ensures your story is polished and professional, which helps build credibility and trust with your readers. So, take your time, be meticulous, and aim for perfection. Your audience will thank you. Now, when we reach the publishing stage, the possibilities really expand. Publication might mean creating a multimedia presentation, like a video or an interactive display, or it could lead to a public performance, such as a speech or a play. During this phase, I want to emphasize the importance of the presentation trait. This is where we focus on making our work truly appealing and inviting to our audience. It's not just about sharing information, but engaging the audience and making them want to listen, watch, or participate. Remember, the goal is to leave a lasting impression and communicate your message effectively. So, as you prepare to publish, keep in mind how your presentation can capture and hold your audience's interest. Let's talk about some common barriers to developing writing skills. First, there's the challenge of writer's block. Many of us have experienced that frustrating moment when ideas just don't come together, making it hard to start or continue writing. Then, there's the lack of effective tools. Without the right resources or guidance, it can be difficult to improve or even maintain good writing habits. Next, we should consider the scope of motivation. Sometimes, our motivation can be limited or fluctuating, which affects our consistency and progress. And finally, noise, whether it's external distractions or internal clutter, can really hinder our focus and productivity when we're trying to write. All these barriers, writer's block, tools, motivation, and noise, are important to understand because they directly impact our ability to develop strong writing skills. Recognizing these obstacles is the first step toward overcoming them and becoming more confident in our writing journey. It's a very common problem in workstations. A writer requires a completely silent place. When someone is engaged in writing, his thoughts travel in a coded message to his mind. If anyone interrupts the flow of thoughts, it becomes disturbed. However, a writer should get used to the noise factor because he cannot always find a place filled with utmost silence except occasionally. He should concentrate deeply on his work. Writers need a variety of tools to support their work. Today, the internet plays a crucial role in helping us gather information quickly and efficiently. However, not everyone is lucky enough to have a personal computer or an internet connection at home. For those without digital access, books remain an essential resource. It's important for writers to not only collect books for research or academic purposes, but also to learn how to use all their tools effectively. Even if you do have internet at home, knowing how to search properly and find the right information is vital. Without the right tools or skills, it becomes much harder to produce quality writing. So, developing these skills and making full use of available resources is key to overcoming the lack of effective tools. Not everyone is fortunate enough to receive formal training for effective writing. If you come from a wealthy background, your parents might be able to support you financially and help you access various writing courses. But even if formal training isn't an option, it's important to remember that self-training is a powerful alternative. You can gather information from many sources, whether that's the internet, books, libraries, or even friends who are experienced writers. The key is to be proactive and committed to improving your skills, no matter your circumstances. This highlights that while formal training can be beneficial, determination and resourcefulness are just as crucial in developing strong writing abilities. Sometimes, you might feel the urge to write something, but the people around you might not support or encourage that. They might tell you that you're not a good writer or that your ideas aren't worth sharing. In those moments, it's really important to remember not to let others' opinions dictate your path. Instead, trust yourself and follow your own instincts. If you're motivated, take that next step forward. And if you realize you need to develop certain skills, don't be discouraged. You can learn a lot just by observing other writers, especially in forums or writing communities. These platforms are great for picking up new techniques and improving your craft. Overall, the key here is motivation and persistence, the willingness to learn and grow, even when faced with doubt or negativity from others. This ties back to our overall theme of nurturing your inner drive and staying committed to your writing journey. So, as a writer, I know that consistently thinking and pondering are essential to crafting something meaningful. Sometimes, as I keep delivering my thoughts, I hit a point where my mind just stalls, what we often call writer's block. It's like hitting a saturation point, where all ideas seem to dry up and I can't seem to move forward. To get past that, it's really helpful to take a step back and refresh my mind. One effective technique is to find a quiet space and read something that truly absorbs me. This helps me relax, reset my thinking, and come back to my writing with a clearer, more inspired mindset. Remember, Overcoming writer's block is about giving your brain a break and finding new stimuli to spark your creativity again. To improve our writing skills, we should focus on using clear and active language. Simplify our sentences by cutting unnecessary words and avoiding complex phrases. Use strong verbs to make our writing more direct and engaging. Eliminating redundancies helps us communicate more efficiently. Remember, straightforward language makes our ideas easier to understand. Connecting these strategies to our overall goal, effective communication, keeps us motivated. Practicing regularly and seeking feedback also play crucial roles. By applying these principles, we can make our writing clearer, more impactful, and more professional. Let's wrap up by emphasizing that mastering these communication skills will truly elevate your professional abilities and open up new opportunities in your career. It's important to match the right communication method to each recipient, whether it's an email, a quick message, or a face-to-face conversation, so your message hits home effectively. Using emails frequently when needed helps keep everyone informed and engaged, but at the same time, eliminating unnecessary or excessive communication can really streamline your workflow and save time. Remember, what you write and how you communicate ultimately shapes how colleagues and superiors perceive you as a professional. By leveraging the full potential of written communication, you can ensure your message is clear, professional, and impactful. So, keep these points in mind as you continue to develop your skills. It's all about being intentional, clear, and adaptable in your communication.